What's up, guys? Hey, so just when you think the AMA can't be any stupider, they are. Jett won the race, but is Eli the real winner? I'm going to explain to you my thoughts on that. And I have some thoughts on why Chase Sexton didn't look like the same guy that dominated outdoors. And members, thank you so much. You guys are helping me really. I honestly think we are having a positive effect on the sport. We're getting these guys, we're letting them know, and we're fighting for safety. So thank you to all the members. It's $2.99. You just click join and you're good to go. And also, if you guys want Lightning Rod energy drink, head over to Lightning Rod. Use code COOKSY for free shipping. It's a healthy energy drink, and it's actually keeping me going right now while I have jet lag coming back from Thailand. It's hard when you come back to make that adjustment, but Lightning Rod energy has definitely helped me and is kind of keeping me functioning. Let's get into this.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
First thing I want to talk about is what they did to my guy, Carter Gray. If you'll remember Carter Gray, I was big on, I became a fan of this kid this year at Loretta Lynn's, watching him fight through and just battle. And the things I saw from Carter Gray really made me a fan at Loretta Lynn's. He fought through a heat exhaustion and actually got the win. Kid is a savage, kid is a beast. Remember that name. I told you that then, and I'm telling you again. This kid, he has as good a chance as anyone to become a star in this sport. Now let's talk about this penalty. I've seen this penalty before. Yeah, believe it or not, I have seen this penalty before. I was in Rock Springs, Wyoming, and this was in the late 80s, like I think 89. So a long time ago. A lot of you guys weren't even born. But there's a guy by the name of Steve Laser Liedberg. He was by far the fastest guy in Utah. They built these gigantic jumps in Rock Springs, Wyoming. We'd never seen anything like it. A local by the name of Richard Taft, rest in peace, broke his wrist on one of the jumps. Compound fracture, sent everybody into a flurry. So they started going, okay, these jumps are dangerous. What are we gonna do? Can we get rid of them? Well, what they ended up deciding was the pros couldn't jump this big double because it was right out of the first turn. They're like, listen, on the first lap, everybody has to single. They announced it at the riders meeting. I'll be honest with you, my buddy Laser Liedberg, he may or may not have smoked a little herb. So he missed riders meeting and he didn't know this. So he goes out there, whole shots, airs it out. And I believe he might have done a no-hander on the first lap, but that was Laser's style. He did what he did, won the race, thought he dominated, comes in and they tell him, dude, you got docked a lap for jumping on the first lap. And he's like, what? He was like, when on earth did, what? So I'm penalized for being good enough to clear the big jump after a ripping a hole shot. Yeah, it was absolutely silly, but we all kind of knew as soon as he jumped it, I went, oh, they just announced that. He's the only guy that didn't get the memo. What they should have done at that race is walked up to every single one of those guys and said, no double on the first lap, no double on the first lap, no double on the first lap, to everyone on the starting line after the riders meeting, and you throw the yellow flag over that jump the first lap. Now these are grown adults with fully functioning brains. We're not talking about kids riding 65s who only know go, go, go. These were adults and they couldn't hold themselves back. Racers, it's in our DNA. You're designed to go out there. Your whole goal is to go as fast as you can and gain advantage on opponents. So when you tell somebody they're not allowed to do something that they have the skill and speed to do, what? It's so counterproductive. So in the 65 race at the Super Duper, Carter Gray was sending, I believe he was the only guy sending that finish line. He had done it multiple times throughout qualifying, throughout practice, through all these, he's done it on all these sessions. Well, apparently 10 minutes before the start of the main event, they decided they weren't able to prep the jump. So it was going to be scary for these kids to go for it. They didn't want anyone to jump the double. So they went over and they told everybody, do not jump this double. When in reality, they only had to tell Carter because he was the only one jumping it anyway. But as we all saw, Carter went for it and he made it and he did it perfectly and there was no issue with it. Yes, they told them not to. But let me explain what they should have done. Common sense is not so common in our sport. Okay, what do we do when we don't want riders to jump a double? You throw a red cross flag. Why on earth did they not just red cross that jump the entire race? Then nobody jumps. Instead, they counted on these kids in front of this crowd with all this adrenaline, and you get somebody like Carter Gray. It's just not easy to turn it off when he's been jumping it all day throughout practice, qualifying. It's his huge advantage, and they tried to take it from him. And I think he just forgot. He's a kid. He got excited and the crowd went bananas. Everybody loved it. And none of us knew he was getting penalized until a couple hours after the race. So let's assume it's the right decision to not let these kids double this. So what you do as an AMA official, first off, the easiest thing to do is throw the red cross flag. Or you put a chicane around it. You change the track. You don't rely on these kids, these young kids whose brains are not fully developed. All they know is race, race, race. And you tell them, don't do something they're capable of doing. Come on, like, are you serious? It's just not in the nature. And I'm really disgusted that they did this. I feel bad for Carter Gray. But Carter, do not be upset. This is making you a household name. You won the race. We all saw you win the race. You won that race. You are the 65cc champion. I don't care what trophy they handed you. You are the winner. Nothing against those other kids. They rode great. They got second and third. Carter Gray was your winner. And this will actually help him in the long run. Now, we are all talking about it. Would I have talked about it? Yeah, I probably just would have mentioned it. But since, it's such a big deal and it's such an injustice, this is leading off my show today, and it's leading off a lot of other shows, and it's sparking debate. He has got people on his side. That whole crowd that cheered, every one of them is like, what? They're docking the superstar kid, and they're pissed, but they will remember who you are. He is now a household name. Carter Gray, I don't have to tell you, remember it. You already know it. Carter Gray is the one that's getting the glory, and good for him. Even though that trophy says third place, we all know you won, and we will always remember that time they screwed you over. Check out Complete Racing Solutions. Coach Rob is accepting resumes. He'll be taking 20 motocross racers and 20 off-road racers and adding them to his team. He will create a program for you based on your physical capabilities to get the best out of you. So get your resumes into Coach Rob. Click the link in this video, get over there, apply, and become part of Coach Rob's CRS team. In addition, Coach Rob is giving away a custom painted helmet with the Precision Transport logo on it to a member. So all members who have already signed up, when we do the drawing, I'm gonna get a randomizer, pick a number, and that will be who I will give the helmet to. And you're automatically entered by simply being a member. Epic Garage Designs, Travis Ogburn. This guy is a badass. He rides motocross. He designs garages. He's got racks, flooring, cabinets. Head over to Epic Garage Designs. He ships anywhere. And if you're in the Las Vegas area or somewhat close, we can come install it for you. Yeah, I go help him with some installs and stuff. It's all about those side jobs, right, guys? Check out epicgaragedesigns.com. Jett Lawrence. This kid is amazing. Took off, like, I don't know how many weeks that was. And I think this rest actually did him solid. He was worn out. He had done 7 straight championships that he had won everything. That is a lot of pressure. He even completed a perfect season. The amount of stress his body was under, the amount of pressure that he was dealing with, and he was doing a crazy good job with it. But this break refreshed him. And he knew he was going to be a little bit off coming in here. And the way he managed his energy, because he wasn't sure, and that's the thing when you come back from these. You can simulate it all you want in practice, but when you get back out on the track, you don't know at some point if your heart rate's going to spike and you're going to hit a wall. So in that first moto, he rode at about 80%, got second place, and then you could see in that second moto, he waited and waited, and he goes, okay, you know what? I have enough in the tank with 10 minutes to go to get this thing to the end, so I'm going for it. And he dropped the hammer and went after Eli Tomac, who was riding awesome. But this is the first round. This is 1/5 of the series, so don't crown Jett yet. We got a ways to go. Chase is still the point leader. How great was it to see Eli Tomac, one of the all-time greats in this sport, who's, he's on the backside of his career. There's no doubt about that. We've thought for the last 5 years he could retire at any time. And for him to keep coming back and keep finding that level, to get that moto win. Oh man, that was like I don't know how anyone couldn't feel good for him. And I love how they cut to Adam Cincerillo and they're like, dude, you were practically cheering for Eli Tomac out there. How could you not? It's just a good story. And that's how he's in that Tom Brady part of his career, Chad Reed when everybody cheered for him, Mike LaRocco when he was older. It's hard not to cheer for these guys. They've done so much for the sport. They've been around so long. We've seen the blood, sweat, and tears that they have shed throughout this sport. And to see them get a little bit of glory one last time, it just feels good. And I don't think he's done. I think if you look at Eli Tomac, Every round he's come back at. That was 2 outdoor rounds and 1 super motocross or super duper, whatever they want to call it. Anyway, so that's 3 rounds. Every round he has made a significant improvement. If he continues this trend, Jett is in trouble next week. But was this the ceiling, or was this, can he add 10 more percent? Because if he adds 10 more percent, we got ourselves a battle. With 4/5 of the series left to go, we might be looking at Eli Tomac, the super duper champion. And these tracks, you couldn't, if you said, okay, let's build a track perfectly for Eli Tomac and what he likes to do, the way he likes to spin that rear and turn the bike, that's why he was able to get away with that paddle tire. Because those turns didn't require a lot of lean angle. The ones that did had those deep, hard ruts that held the tire where it needed to be. And those sand sections were deep. I mean, they ate Sexton's lunch and Anderson's lunch. They were nasty. So for him to go with the paddle tire was ballsy, and it also paid off big because it didn't really hurt him everywhere else. The way he steers, he doesn't put a lot of pressure on that sidewall. If you watch Tomac ride, he spins it. And once you can get that forward drive from that paddle tire, it works fine. Where it doesn't work is when you have to lay it over in like a flat, long, sweeping turn without a rut. Those ones are difficult. There wasn't a lot of those on this track. He could point, shoot, and go. Even if he doesn't make a significant improvement, the confidence that Eli Tomac has gained by winning that first one and almost winning the second one. I mean, he kept Jett honest. Even after Jett passed him, he stayed right there. Jett is going to have his hands full if Eli can improve just even a little bit. Check out Ride Strap. They got your patriotic goggles. They got your shirts. And I'm excited. Chris is coming out here for the SMX event, bringing his beautiful wife. I can't wait to hang out with him. What a great dude. Hopefully we don't get kicked out again. But we're going to give it a go and see if they'll let me attend another event. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. Hit up pretransport.com. They ship all over the United States. They give you customer service and the best pricing. Hit up pretransport.com. Chase Sexton, he was there to win. He had all that momentum from the outdoor series, but he almost looked a little bit burnt out. He was going for it in that final qualifying session and had that huge get off in the sand. I 100% think that affected him. The rest of the day, he did not look to have the same fire he had when he was going for that hot lap. And just to add a little context, he went 1-1 at this race last year, and it didn't really help him for the SMX title. This is 1/5 of the series. They have 4/5 to go. He understands that after what happened last year. He has the point lead. How many of you guys knew that? Because he had a big lead coming in. He's the only heavy hitter to ride both series completely through. So he has the point lead over Jett, Eli, and Hunter, and all these guys. And with a double point and a triple point round coming up next, all he had to do was stay inside the top 5, and he was 3rd. Perfect. Now you can move on. He understands, it's not as important at that first round, but the second 2 are very important. And watch for Chase Sexton to he's going to get that kill mode that he does. He's going to get that full send. He didn't have it there. And, it was a smart move to just ride in for 3rd. He understands this is the second year doing the SMX series. He understands there's a different strategy to this event. You ramp up your intensity because the events are considerably more important. Hunter Lawrence, he looked good, but he's just not on that same level as those top 3. He rides his ass off. He's going to be there from time to time, but he's in that second group, that Roxon, Anderson, Barsha. He's in that group, and he seems to be the best of that group, but he's still in that group. And Roxon, he hasn't looked the same since coming back from the leg injury. Then he got smoked on the 250, which I don't hold that against him. That was just a fun thing to do. And let's be real, he was riding an RM 250. That is not the best bike. It's not the most competitive. And that 250 class, those guys are fast. If you don't think Hayden Deegan couldn't jump on a 450 right now and be a contender for wins, you're out of your mind. He absolutely could. And the safety at this event was lackluster, to say the least. The way they put tough blocks in rhythm sections disgusts me. A while ago, where they decided, okay, let's not put, tough blocks on the landings of triples because you go so far, it's dangerous. Well, in rhythm sections, they're jumping a lot further now. With these 4 strokes and the traction, they are flat flying through those things, and it is so much more dangerous. Can they please? And the teams, they have all the leverage. Just so you know, teams, riders do not make money from the series. Yes, they get a little bit from SMX, but you control all the power. If you guys walk over to the field and say, hey, We're not racing if you don't put those tough blocks on the side of the track and just use just use Acerbis barriers on the rhythm sections and then build a little dirt ledge for your sponsors. I'm not saying get rid of the sponsors because these guys are really good at selling sponsorships. I wish they put that much effort into protecting the riders because we'd have a great series. They know how to do that, but they do not give a crap about their product. They think these riders are disposable. They're not. Stars are not disposable. The NFL learned this a long time ago. That's why they protect quarterbacks. That's why they do not allow anyone to hit the superstars, because superstars sell tickets. And every time we lose a superstar, like a Barsha, a Plessinger, even a Jalek Swoll, it hurts ticket sales. If that were Jett or Deegan, ticket sales significantly drop. Or Tomac, any of those top guys, you hurt your series. You have to at least, the track's dangerous enough as is. Anderson crashed on what is typically a normal section. I don't think there's anything you can do to get that type of crash out of the series. Same with Sexton. Those are dangerous parts of the track. What happened to Barsha? Totally preventable. What happened to Jalek Swoll? Totally preventable. And teams, you've got to stand up and tell them. They will listen to you because without you, there's no races. So teams, please stand up to them and tell them, we need these simple things, just common sense. And I want to say common sense is pretty easy. You can just look at it and say, okay, we'll move the tough blocks off. You give 6 more inches on each side and you keep it safer so they don't clip them and drag them in front of somebody else who could be seriously injured. Feld and MX Sports, they always think I'm trying to trash them. I'm not. I'm genuinely trying to make them more money because if you can keep these guys healthy, you'll sell more tickets. I'm trying to make you knuckleheads more money. So stop looking at me with this negative attitude. They call me negative. It's negative for them not to take the advice that I'm giving them and just make some easy corrections. Throw a red cross flag if you're going to make somebody not jump a double. Set the tough blocks off of the side. Build 2 feet beyond the dirt on the start so that somebody like Jalek Swoll doesn't have that nasty crash. It's not rocket science. Throw some padding over all those concretes. How much would it cost to go get some gymnastic pads and throw them over all those concrete barriers? It adds a little bit more protection. It takes what would be a deadly injury and makes it, it just hurts really bad. When they show up in Las Vegas, damn it, please put some gymnastic pads over the concrete. That's all you got to do. Or even those great big sponsor band, the big long sponsor ones, throw those in front of the concrete. Do something. Don't just leave bare concrete for these guys going 30, 40 miles an hour. One of these guys goes head first into that thing, that's a fatality. That will cost the sport more than they will ever want to lose. Just so you guys know, I'm saving you money. Listen to me. Thank you, members. Today's featured member is Right Diesel Services. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Check out Right Diesel Services on YouTube. And I'm thinking about doing something a little extra. Yes, I'm in this. I make money too doing this. So I'm wondering if some of you businesses, instead of coming on as a regular sponsor, if you'd be interested in just buying a plug at the end of the show. That way, it helps everybody. Anyway, let me know if you guys are interested or any businesses out there want to just buy a plug at the end of my shows, and I'll do it. No big commitment, just one show, I'll give you a plug. Thanks, guys. Remember, subscribe, and I really appreciate you guys.